riffing, but the captain's at a party. Pretoria answer the call, like it gone to sleep. Adam Gardner stand tall in the harbor of Durban. The seal ships ride, the ANC plays a game of seek and hide. They call for the exercise in like the east wind, and point a paging and say they're the ones who sin. Turban was under this, I guess, at the gate. Now they say who invited them, it must have been fake. Confusion in the Union building, shadows on the wall. Now the truth gets buried in the marble hall. Who is running the land? Tell me, who's in command? Is it the suit in the office or the gun in hand? Oh, that from the Congo to the Pretoria street, the drums of the rock start to skip a beat. No boots for the boys, no armor for the chest, but millions for the general to go take a rest. And she speaks of an inquiry, a code to be won, but the days turn to weeks and the paper is torn. No answers coming down as the heavy silence, while the heroes in the bush face no rebel violence. Sent to the jungle with no wings in the sky, only 3 helicopters, how can they fly? No medevac coming when they let us to rain. Chased by the rebels, oh the pride and the pain. No uniform, no boot, no boots, oh wait, look at the budget for the big salute. P7, 2 million for retirement spree. Modern Navy is sinking beneath the sea. Not a submarine moving, not a sailor in sight, but the body lights are burning to the Pretoria night. The chief of defense, he's a law to himself. Kept commander of the Navy, puts the stay on the self. Defying the podium, ignoring the sir, while the ghost of the fly starts awake and to stir. And what's this whisper? What's this dark news? The chairman tried with murder, and he's the one they choose. Promoted to the top, while the dockets go forward. Is this the new story that's being told? Who is running the land? Tell me, who's in command? Is it Siren? Is it Langy? Does Ronnie understand? Oh, from the Crown Hope to the Pretoria street, the drums of the ropes are to skip a beat. No boost for the boys, no armor for the chest, but million for the tenor on the moat. The rest, the generals are dancing, the politicians are glancing, the money is vanishing, and the soldiers are wandering. Who's the boss? Siren. Who's the boss? Anki. The military's gone rogue in the sun. The parade has only just begun.
Marvin Divine. I'm saying bye to all the lies and all the times you cried, saying that I wasn't right, yet I was right by your side. You manipulator, playing games, your friends commentators, and I don't know what you say about our private conversations, but it's got them hating. Thanks to all the rumors you be claiming. It's cool, I'm done with you, so they can throw you a celebration. You gon' hate it when you see me with somebody living better. I'm trying to tell you that me just doing me gon' have you jealous.
4 days until the domestic terrorist threat to South Africa comes to fruition. Today is the 26th of June, 2026. On the 30th of June, March and March, an organization that purports to be a peaceful organization seeking to have illegal aliens removed from South Africa, but has threatened them to get out of the country by June 30th. And many of their followers and supporters have threatened foreigners in general and white South Africans in particular. Domestic terrorist threats disrupting South Africa. Terrorists now guiding South Africa's domestic policy and its foreign policy. Thousands, tens of thousands of foreign nationals fleeing the country, some legal, many illegal, because of the fear placed in their heart by the murder of Mozambicans, Ghanaians, and Malawians at the hands of thugs who are not being told to behave themselves by the likes of Jacinta Nkubisi Zuma and her March and March movement, as well as Operation Dudela. Afrophobia, xenophobia is on the march in South Africa. We've seen it in the past when many people have been killed back in 2008, 60 foreign nationals murdered in South Africa in a spat of xenophobia. Blaming Africans for the ANC's kleptocracy and its massive macroeconomic failures. That is not the answer, ladies and gentlemen. The answer is not is not to blame others. It's to blame the ANC and hold them accountable. Instead of threatening to murder and to kick out illegal aliens on the 30th of June, South Africans would be better served to kick out the ANC on the 4th of November. It shouldn't be the 30th of June that's the deadline by March and March. The deadline should be 4 November. 4 November to remove the ANC from its perch. Take all of its control away. Remove it from every municipality. Make it a minority party in every municipality so that the country has a chance to be governed by legitimate people who seek to improve the lives of South Africans under the rule of law. That is the answer. But no, Cyril Ramaphosa, as usual, late to the party, just 4 days before the potentially explosive events on the 30th of June, just 4 days before it, he finally reaches out to the traditional chiefs. 4 days before the 30 June protest, Ramaphosa is asking the royals for help. The presidency confirms the planned engagements today, but King Zulu KwaZulu-Natali's attendance is not guaranteed, and that's the most important person to be there. The government's racing to secure a calm ahead of the 30 June anticipated anti-immigration protest and violence, trying to enlist royal houses and diplomacy as groups threaten a national shutdown. In the coming days, President Cyril Ramaphosa will meet leaders of South Africa's traditional and royal houses as part of a broader effort to contain rising anti-immigrant tension before Tuesday's planned protest. Why in the world has Cyril Ramaphosa waited till a weekend prior to this potentially violent event to coordinate with royal houses who hold sway and influence over the Xhosa, over the Venda, and over others like the Zulu? Why has he waited till then? Because he's not a leader. He's a reactor. Cyril Ramaphosa is not a leader. He is a reactor. He has never done anything in leadership for South Africa. All of you suckers in 2017 who talked about Ramaphoria, you are suckers. And I hope you're willing to admit that you were suckers in 2017. I wasn't one of them. And I'm on record saying they have a chance to fix it, but I'm not confident that they will. Well, the king of the Zulu has spoken. The 30th is not war, says the AmaZulu king, asking Impis to make sure foreigners are not hurt. Wow. There's the commander of the AmaZulu Nation regiments. Why does a non-existent country have military formations inside of South Africa? AmaZulu King Zulu KwaZulu-Natal has called for the Zulu Nation to ensure anti-foreigner marches on 30 June remain peaceful. Speaking through the leader of the Zulu Royal Regiments, Sipho Mlongo, the king acknowledged protest as a constitutional right. Community leaders across Durban committed to spreading the king's message and said foreigners must leave the country. So they said two different things. Foreigners, not illegals, foreigners. AmaZulu King Zulu KwaZulu-Natal has asked the Royal Regiments and chiefs to prevent foreign nationals from being harmed or beaten. The king said he knows there is a march planned and that he's not stopping anyone from marching because it's constitutional right. He also knows the nation is aggrieved about many things. He's not against the march and knows that people who are in South Africa illegally should return home. He only asks for one thing, that we prevent foreign nationals from being harmed or beaten. No one should be seen taking cabbage from hawkers, looting stores, or stealing. The meeting of the headmen and chiefs follows a plea on Sunday by the king for his subjects to show compassion to migrants and refrain from violence. The king's intervention came at a critical moment just a few days before the 30th June. Mlongo echoed the king's message on Sunday and said that if there were more violence, South Africans risk suffering the same when they were outside their country's borders. If we beat them up, they will do the same in their countries. They will kill you. Don't do anything to them. Yep. So this is a little too late, but maybe it will have an impact because we expect most of the violence to occur in the Zulu lands. Yep. Or where Zulu are heavily present, like Gauteng. South Africa has been warned, stop the anti-migrant violence before history repeats itself. The Institute of Economic Justice has warned that South Africa risks repeating some of the darkest episodes of its democratic history unless government acts decisively against anti-migrant violence, hate speech, and vigilante groups whose activities have intensified in recent months. In a 7-page statement titled, They Are Us, Government Must Act Against Anti-Migrant Rhetoric and Vigilante Violence and Urgently Address Socioeconomic Deprivation, the organization argues that public's frustration over unemployment, poverty, and deteriorating public services is being redirected towards migrants instead of the structural causes of South Africa's economic crisis. Everybody wants and has the right to decent work, dignified public services, food, shelter, and safety. The anger people feel towards these unacceptable conditions is understandable and needs to be addressed. But killing foreigners is not the answer. Voting the ANC out of office is the answer. Why don't any of these organizations call for the removal of the ANC? Why aren't they calling for that? Why aren't they calling for the impeachment of a president who's credibly accused of money laundering? Nobody doing that. June 30th declared a normal day. Really, a normal day. Well, thank you for sharing that. The government insists South Africa will operate normally on June 30th. Well, that's a lie, warning that anyone who takes the law into their own hands or incites violence against foreigners will be arrested and face prosecution. I doubt that. I doubt they'll do that. Speaking during a media briefing today, Interministerial Committee on Migration Chairperson Justice Minister Mamaloko Kubai warned the violence, intimidation, targeting of undocumented migrants will not be tolerated during planned nationwide protests next Tuesday. So it'll be a normal day, except people will be protesting everywhere. That's not a normal day, Mamaloko Kubaya. That is not a normal day. Sorry, sweetheart. That is not a normal day. That is a day when people are fearful to go on the road or to go to work. Not a normal day. These people are whistling past a cemetery. South Africa is a powder keg. It only takes someone to light the spark on the veld. And next thing you have an out-of-control veld fire coming. And that is what is facing South Africa on June 30th and the days leading up to it, starting tomorrow. Hundreds march and escort demanding action against illegal immigrants. Here you go. And there you go. March and march. And there she is in the front again, leading her cohort. Hundreds of March and March movement supporters march and escort KwaZulu-Natal, demanding the removal of undocumented foreign nationals. The protest led by the mayor, Dudutse Miezi and Jacinta Nkabisi Zuma, took place under heavy police monitoring and remained peaceful. The mayor should be given a vote of no confidence. The mayor is out leading violent people to remove people illegally from the country. The mayor of that city escort should be given a vote of no confidence today. If you have real government in South Africa, that mayor should be removed. There's no basis for a mayor to be out in political protests like that. That is unacceptable. This man must be gone. Hundreds of March and March movement supporters gathered and escort KwaZulu-Natal on Friday, demanding the removal of undocumented foreign nationals from the town. The march, led by Inkosi Langabalela local municipality mayor Mduzi Mieza, was also attended by March and March leader Jacinta Nkabisi Zuma. We are not against people because of where they come from, but those who are in South Africa illegally must leave. We've been raising these concerns for years, and now we're making our voices heard. The government must enforce its own immigration laws. Yeah, that's fine. So why are you threatening people? Why are people being murdered in your name? Yeah, that's two different things. Well, the Durban repatriation site is overwhelmed by more arrivals. Look at all these Malawians in Durban's drive-in site. That's insane. It's insane. More and more. Efforts to repatriate undocumented Malawian nationals in an orderly way are under strain from a steady stream of new arrivals, leaving local Home Affairs officials struggling to keep control. The Home Affairs KwaZulu-Natal manager, Cyril Nkombabe, called the Durban drive-in site a bottomless pit with no cutoff date. He said authorities are constantly forced to absorb new groups of people to avoid public disorder in busy tourist areas. Wow, look at this. This is insane. Last I heard, there were about 15,000. He said there's 8,000 there currently, so apparently a lot of them have been removed out of there. But this is just insane. Why are they all in Durban? Why are all these Malawians in Durban? They're all over the country. South Africa is considering intervention in Johannesburg. They could be forced to place Johannesburg under government administration as years of financial mismanagement, political instability, and deteriorating public services push the country's commercial capital closer to a fiscal collapse that business leaders warn could undermine the national economy. The finance minister threatens to withhold 8 billion rand in annual funding if the city fails to fix its finances. Business leaders say Joburg's deteriorating finances are now posing national economic risk because the city contributes 16% of the country's GDP. Jeez. Wow. It's home to the Johannesburg Stock Exchange and serves as headquarters or regional base for many of the continent's biggest banks, mining companies, retailers, and multinational corporations. But it is collapsing. Joburg is collapsing not because of Zamazamas, but because of incompetence and theft. Julius Malema is calling for Toko Didiza's removal amid Palapala impeachment controversy. Well, I agree with Julius Malema for this one. Yep. Economic Freedom Fighters leader Julius Malema has filed a motion seeking the removal of National Assembly Speaker Toko Didiza over handling the Palapala impeachment. In a letter, EFF National Chairperson Parliamentary Chief Whip Nontando Notseleshungu confirmed the tabling of the motion against Didiza. The motion is in the name of the President of the Economic Freedom Fighters and the party in the National Assembly. The nature of the reasons for the removal of the Speaker, as set in the motion, states that this matter be handled as expeditiously as possible, and we urge you to treat it with the urgency it deserves. She chose to disregard legal advice and has allowed the president to continue his ridiculous effort to stop the impeachment process with his urgent interdict. Lika Lulu, thank you for the 14 Rand super sticker. Suitcase, I guess maybe you're flying, it sounds like. U.S. tariffs are squeezing South African manufacturer. Yep. Tariffs have put pressure on Bell Equipment's U.S. prices and profit margin, contributing to a 50% drop in profit. South Africa's only major designer, manufacturer, and distributor of heavy equipment, such as articulated dump trucks, said a statement Friday that its earnings and headline earnings per share for the 6 months to the end of June will fall 50% compared to last year. Wow. It has factories in Richards Bay, KwaZulu-Natal, and Eisenach, Kindle, Germany, reported revenue of $11 billion. It represented a drop of 5%, while operating profit fell more than 20%. Yep. So the tariffs, which the ANC thinks are a joke, is causing half the profit to disappear from that company alone. The National Prosecuting Authority has frozen $6 million in Hartbeespoort Port property in a corruption case involving Judge Pahalane. Yeah, interesting. National Prosecuting Authority has secured a high court preservation order freezing a luxury Hartbeespoort Port property valued at 6 million rand, which it alleges was purchased using proceeds of corruption and money laundering linked to a case involving Judge Portia Dupuo Pahalane. Pahalane was previously released on a 50,000 rand bail after being arrested by the Hawks on allegations of accepting a multi-million rand bribe linked to the long-running church leadership dispute. Well, more corrupt public officials in South Africa. Every day we find another story. Hugo Bruce is pissing and moaning and whining about the travel. Everybody has to travel, sweetheart. The Americans have to travel across the country for their game. Grow up. Travel to Los Angeles cuts into Bafana prep time. A little bit annoying, says Hugo Bruce, already making excuses for their coming loss to Canada. Hugo Bruce has expressed frustration over Bafana's travel schedule ahead of their round of 32 clash with Canada, saying delays have disrupted preparation time. They'll only arrive in Los Angeles on Friday, leaving 3 days to recover, analyze Canada, and prepare for the match. So you can't analyze Canada now? What are you doing? Sipping margaritas on the beach in Monterey? Come on, Hugo Bruce, you whiny Belgian. Get it together. He said the team is growing in confidence and will fight for 90 minutes or more as they chase the historic World Cup run. Tomorrow we'll start by analyzing our opponent for Sunday. It's a little bit of a pity that we have to travel tomorrow, Thursday, first to Pachua and then the day after to Los Angeles. We wanted to go already tomorrow, but FIFA didn't allow it, so that's a little bit annoying. I rather want to travel already to the location where we want to play. So, too bad. Grow up. So sad. Everybody's dealing with travel challenges. It's a big continent. U.S. retirees, according to News 24, are flocking to South Africa, and Delta is hoping to cash in. Their seats are 80 and 90% full. American cable carrier Delta Airlines says business consultants and baby boomer retirees are driving strong growth in the travel demand between South Africa and the U.S. despite fraught relations between Pretoria and Washington. The airline said its average passenger load for the U.S.-South Africa route has reached 80 to 90%. The metric measures percentage of available seating capacity filled by paying passengers. Delta operates daily flights between Atlanta and Joburg and weekly flights between Atlanta and Cape Town. Overall, it operates 4,000 daily flights to 275 destinations in 50 countries. So, baby boomers are retiring in droves, accumulating wealth that we've not seen in the history of the U.S. as far as retirement funds are concerned. Whether it's pension plans with employers, 401ks, or lucrative retirements or good saving, now they want to travel to places they've never been to, and they want to go on safari and do wine tasting. And these are among some of the things that South Africa has to offer. Yes, it's some of what South Africa does have to offer, but it has a lot more to offer, and some of it you don't want. Meanwhile, the DRC has filed an International Court of Justice case against Rwanda. Whoa, another ICJ case. The Democratic Republic of Congo has filed a case against Rwanda at the International Court of Justice over its role in the long-running conflict in the east of the country. The DRC accused Rwanda of breaching international conventions, including those on genocide, racial discrimination, and torture. Racial discrimination. I'm sorry. Last time I checked, Rwanda was black and DRC was black. What did I tell you? Racists can be racist against their own people, their own skin color. Told you this over and over again, and there's the proof of it. They're filing a racial discrimination case against the Rwandans for racially discriminating against black people by black people. The Congo has imposed restrictions on travel abroad after the Ebola case was detected in France. That doctor rocked up, so now they're putting restrictions out. Congolese authorities are restricting people from traveling outside the country after France confirmed the first Ebola case in Europe from the ongoing outbreak in Central Africa. Any person who's been in a province affected by the Ebola outbreak will only be allowed to travel abroad after spending 3 weeks outside the outbreak area. Wow. That's not good. But the DRC is taking control of things, and they need to. Otherwise, the DRC is going to be a pariah amongst the world. 1,000 cases now and 254 dead. More than 1,000 Ebola infections have been recorded in the DRC, where the latest outbreak has killed more than 250 people. The country's National Institute of Public Health confirmed 1,003 cases, 254 deaths, with a fatality rate of 25%. The latest outbreak was detected on May 15th. Not looking good, folks. Not looking good. Ebola. Kenyan police dispersed a group marking the 2024 protest. Families of slain protesters demand justice and accountability for police violence. Kenyan police fired tear gas on Thursday to disperse protesters in Nairobi after dozens took to the streets in memory of demonstrators killed 2 years ago. A total of 355 people were arrested in parts of Kenya. Interior Minister Murkomen said he apologized for barricades and other security measures aimed at containing the protest. At least 60 people were killed in that crackdown in 2024. People are upset about that. Traffic through the Strait of Hormuz has slowed following an attack on the ship last night. The bridge was struck by a drone. Shipping activity through the Strait of Hormuz declined on June 26 from earlier in the week, according to ship tracking data following an incident in which a Taiwanese-operated vessel was targeted by Iranian forces. Iranian Deputy Foreign Minister Kazim Gharibabadi said the safe navigation of the Strait of Hormuz cannot be guaranteed without coordination with Tehran. And to which I say, Tehran can shove it. You don't control international waters, and it's time you get put back in your box. Iran is warning the new Hormuz route for ships. Experts say disagreements over shipping routes and transit fees could complicate efforts to reach a permanent agreement. They have no right to claim fees. Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps has warned commercial vessels to only use routes to Hormuz approved by Tehran, reopening a friction of fragile negotiations between the United States and Iran. It is time to bomb them into the Stone Age. I'm tired of this. What is Donald Trump waiting for here? This is getting ridiculous. Oil prices made a stunning retreat to below pre-war prices. Wow. We heard it was going to be $200 a barrel. That's what the left said. Where are they at now? Where are they at now? They were screaming, $200 a barrel, 30% inflation. Where are they at now? They've got nothing to say. Nothing to say. The U.S. war with Iran, the economic war the latter waged in return, was supposed to be an apocalyptic moment for the oil market. Instead, oil prices are on the cusp of falling back. Well, they're beyond their pre-war levels. They're below the pre-war levels. Trading for under $70 a barrel. It was $79 a barrel when the war started. Now it's trading for $69 a barrel. Interesting. Meanwhile, a small plane has crashed into the tallest building in Beijing. Crowds in the capital's central business district fled as the crash sent debris into the streets below. You can see the broken windows there, very small part of the damaged exterior of the CITIC Tower, known in China as the Zun, as China Zun. A small aircraft flew into the tallest building in Beijing on Friday, sending huge chunks of debris and plane parts plummeting to the street below. Video shared on social media, verified by the New York Times, showed debris falling from the skyscraper. People ran to safety. The footage showed broken windows and debris, including what appeared to be the tail of a small aircraft, falling dozens of stories onto the street below. Wow. The aircraft is normally used for pilot training east of Beijing. He said that this flight was out of character, and those flights, adding, I don't think we can rule out anything at this point. Pretty crazy. Pretty crazy, folks. It's the headquarters of the CITIC Group, one of China's biggest state-owned financial conglomerates. An employee of the nearby gym who identified himself as by the surname Zhang said that he was walking with friends when he saw an aircraft hit the tower at 6 p.m. A woman with a head injury was taken away in an ambulance. A worker in the nearby restaurant reported hearing a loud noise around the same time. That's crazy, man. Oof, planes. Whoops is right. South Korea is now training all of its active duty soldiers to operate drones. Every soldier will be able to operate a drone. Country's defense minister said drones should be a universal combat tool for its soldiers. South Korea will train hundreds of thousands of troops to become drone warriors to counter the threat from North Korea as unmanned systems reshape modern warfare. On Friday, South Korea announced a plan to deploy 60,000 drones in the next 3 years and eventually train the entire active force to operate drones to counter North Korea. Drones are battlefield game changers, said Defense Minister An Gun. Indeed, they are. And the Ukraine conflict has made it more obvious what drones can be used for. Meanwhile, another earthquake, this one not in Venezuela, but in Japan. A 5.7 magnitude quake near Tokyo, just west of Tokyo, below Kofu. There's the epicenter of it. A moderately strong 5.7 magnitude earthquake struck Japan on Friday, according to U.S. Geological Survey. It happened at 10:29 p.m. Japan time, 30 miles west of Tokyo. Seismologists review available data. They may revise the magnitude. It's crazy. Earthquakes happening in Chile, happening in California, happening in Venezuela, happening in Japan. When will they happen in Iceland? or will the volcanoes, will the plates shift? Ukrainian attacks in the Crimea, an emergency declaration. Weeks of intense strikes by Ukraine have rattled everyday life in Crimea to an extent unseen since Russia illegally annexed the peninsula in 2014. You can see a temporary causeway has been blown apart there. The bridge had already been destroyed. You can see all the cracks in the bridge, but you can see where the causeway has been destroyed now as well. Authorities in Crimea, the Ukrainian peninsula controlled by Russia, declared a state of emergency on Friday after weeks of intense air attacks by Ukraine, including a wave of drone strikes overnight that appears to have been one of the largest since the war began. The Russian Defense Ministry said Friday that its air defense has intercepted 660 Ukrainian drones overnight. Crimea and about a dozen other regions were targeted. Who's making all these drones? 660 drones in one attack? This is insane. This is so many drones. It's out of control. Ryanair has finally stopped charging parents to sit with their children. They reluctantly changed course after British regulator began investigating whether its fees were illegal. Well, they should be illegal. Ryanair, Europe's largest airline, said Thursday that it had scrapped a fee that parents had to pay to sit next to their children after British regulators said it was looking into it. Low-cost carrier previously charged parents or other accompanied adults typically £8 or $11 to secure adjacent seats for their children. We will reluctantly adjust to this industry standard as we don't want to waste time explaining to misguided regulators how badly they misunderstood what is in the best interest of UK and Europe's customers. I don't think so. I don't think so. That's in the best interest of consumers. Charging people to sit next to their children, that's ridiculous. Well, the death toll has risen to 589 in that earthquake in Venezuela, and foreign rescuers are there. Missing persons website shared by Venezuela's opposition leaders listed more than 49,600 people as unaccounted for after two powerful earthquakes. Venezuelan interim president Delcy Rodriguez said that 589 people had died and 2,980 had been injured in the quakes. Meanwhile, 50,000 are still missing. 235 bodies have been taken to medical facilities following the 7.2 and 7.5 magnitude earthquakes. Spain's foreign ministry reported 3 Spanish citizens had died, 4 remained trapped beneath collapsed buildings, and 99 were missing. He's under slabs and there's no machinery to get him out, said Yamalith Jimenez of her 19-year-old son stuck in debris of their 7-story apartment building on the coast outside Caracas. Disasters left thousands homeless in a country already struggling with years of economic hardship, political instability, and deteriorating infrastructure. It's a tragedy, said Beatriz Rodriguez, whose nephew's legs were amputated due to being crushed in the quakes. Another nephew was killed. Wow. In Morón, a coastal town near the earthquake's epicenter, residents were left without electricity or running water. Horrible circumstance there, folks. Nature is cruel. Former National Security Advisor and neocon John Bolton has pled guilty to retaining national defense information illegally. This criminal, former advisor to Bush and Trump, could face 5 years in prison. I hope he gets it. I hope he gets it. National Security Advisor to President Trump during his first term pled guilty Friday to mishandling classified information when he collected notes for a memoir that painted an unflattering portrait of the president and his White House. The 77-year-old had agreed earlier this month to plead guilty in a single count of unlawfully retaining national defense information, although he had done it multiple times as part of a deal. He also agreed to pay a $2.25 million fine. He faces 5 years in prison, but could receive considerably less or none at all. He also has to conduct 100 hours community service direct in the Justice Department. He formally entered his guilty plea during a nearly hour-long hearing in federal court in Maryland. When the judge asked Bolton if he was entering a plea, in fact, he was guilty. Bolton responded, "I am, Your Honor," adding, "Sorry for it." Yep. So this is an actual criminal who attacked Donald Trump, another one of these criminals. This is a neocon, a neoconservative from the Bush era who was the ambassador to the UN at the time. And Trump foolishly made him his national security advisor. Supreme Court rejects the racist claims against Trump and allowing him to shut down deportation amnesty. Supreme Court cleared the way yesterday for the Department of Homeland Security to wind down a deportation amnesty for hundreds of thousands of illegal immigrants under President Trump's decision to end temporary protected status that was not motivated by racism. This is a significant victory of presidential power and severe rebuke for lower court judges, particularly demon rat appointees who had adopted the racism argument and moved to block the president. But they had never proved racism. They simply claimed it was racist because the people were being sent back. That doesn't make it racist. And the Supreme Court sided with the president correctly. This is a major win. Justice Samuel Alito, writing for the 6-3 majority, said those judges have been too eager to step in and oppose Trump, even though the law specifically bars courts from interfering in these sorts of decisions. The one area where the courts can play roles in constitutional claims, such as the allegation Mr. Trump acted based on racist views about illegal immigrants. Justice Alito, an appointee of President Bush, said the lower courts got it wrong again. None of the cited statements by either the President or Homeland Security Secretary was overtly racial, and in substance all expressed policy views that could rest on race-neutral justifications. Temporary protected status, humanitarian protection granted to migrants from countries that have been suffering from war, famine, natural disaster, epidemics, or instability. Yep. It grants a stay of deportation and gives migrants a chance to earn work permit, allowing them to compete for jobs, claim some taxpayer benefits, and put down roots. It's intended to be temporary, but in fact it's been used to work around for the immigration. Some Central American migrants have been living in the United States under temporary protected status since the turn of the century. Well, the Liberians have been here since the 1990s under TPS. The case for the justice involved Haiti, first designated TPS in the year 2010, and Syria in 2012. As early as 2025, when Trump moved to wind down temporary protected status, roughly 350,000 Haitians and 6,000 Syrians were protected, and 602,000 Venezuelans are protected, and they all need to go home. Justice Kagan pointed to a claim during 2024 that Haitian immigrants were eating the dogs. They probably have AIDS. She said Trump called Haitian immigrants to the U.S. a death wish for our country. At one point, he said some migrants were poisoning the blood of the U.S. The references of filthy and primitivism are shot through with racial stereotypes and tropes. It's hard to imagine the statements being made today by any white community, said Justice Kagan. Justice Alito, though, said the entire reason why some nations qualify for temporary status is the terrible conditions they face, something Trump was pointing out. Yep. Justice Clarence Thomas, who sided with Alito, wrote separately to argue that the very idea of making an equal protection claim against immigration law was suspect. Yep. So, bye-bye to the Haitians. Go home. And now ICE can go for them. The court's latest immigration ruling will cause Americans to die and suffer, an attorney claims. How? Immigration attorney Alan Orr claimed the Supreme Court's ruling that the Trump administration's right to end TPS for Haitian and Syrian nationals will cause several people to die. Well, that says Americans. They're not Americans. On Thursday, the Supreme Court ruled, speaking on MS Now, reports Orr represented Haitian nationals called the decision very devastating for Americans, suggesting it could have deadly consequences. How? There are going to be a lot of jobs are left open, a lot of people in the home healthcare industry who are not going to receive any service because their provider is going to be removed from the United States. A lot of people are going to die and suffer because of this. So I wish the court was more of a court of equity rather than with... I'm sorry. So your argument that people that have no business being in our country should be allowed here because we need workers, that doesn't fly. So we should avoid the rule of law to accommodate people who came here. Oh, please spare me. It's temporary to protect them for a short period of time. There's no need to protect them. They can go home to Haiti. 18.7 million air travelers are expected to be screened on the 4th of July alone. Woo, a lot of people flying on the 4th of July. Yep. There's Miami. No wonder everybody there looks Hispanic. It's Miami. The Transportation Security Administration expected to screen almost 18.7 million travelers at airports across the United States between June 30th and July 6th. Oh, not on the 4th. Okay. TSA is projecting to handle 3 million people on July 2nd alone. My goodness. Ha Nhung McNeil. Ha Nhung McNeil, Vietnamese with a Scottish name. TSA senior official performing the duties of the administrator said the agency's security checkpoints are fully staffed and prepared to welcome these travelers. Bia, thank you for the super chat. Super sticker, 10 rands. Appreciate that, 10 rand. Well, the Great American State Fair is unfolding in Washington, D.C. The opening of the Great American State Fair yesterday offered a coast-to-coast showcase of the nation's unique cultures and traditions as the United States was just days away from celebrating its 250th anniversary. Whether it was bouquets of chilies hanging inside New Mexico's exhibit or talking hologram of Abraham Lincoln greeting guests in the Illinois pavilion, each state shared cherished parts of its character inside faux neoclassical facades lining the National Mall. Visitors dressed in an assortment of red, white, and blue garb crisscrossed the grassy expanses of the mall to collect stamps from each of the 50 states and a handful of territories, while taking breaks to watch a live rodeo, observe a flyover from a pair of B-52s, and wait to hop on the Ferris wheel. A miniature version of President Trump's proposed triumphal arch was situated in the middle of the fairgrounds, became a popular attraction for photo shoots. Cool beans. So people there for the Great American Fair. Didn't even know this was happening, to be honest. It became embroiled in controversy earlier this month when several of its headlining acts, including Bret Michaels, Martina McBride, the Commodores, and Young MC, pulled out over fears it was highly political. Well, shame on those cowards. Shame on them. I won't listen to any of those clowns. 7,200 trafficked children have been rescued by the Trump administration in his second term. Last year, the agency arrested 1,700 child predators and more than 300 human traffickers. Authorities have rescued 7,200 children from traffickers and predators under the current administration, a 42% increase from the prior administration, according to Kash Patel. 3,500 predators and traffickers are locked up, a 102% increase from previous administration. If you mean to bring harm to the most precious and innocent among us, our children, we will find you. Wow. It's crazy. Dismantled networks related to the online predator group 764 and terminated more than 3.8 million pedophile accounts on the dark web. That's insane. 3.8 million pedophile accounts. That's sick. Particularly dangerous situation in Utah, as forecasters warn a fire is raging. Vliki, thank you so much for the 40 Rand. Elevated to critical fire weather risk extending across the west. There's where it's at. That was on the 26th. You can see the dark areas are extreme from Las Vegas towards Salt Lake City. Now right on the verge of Las Vegas and moving into Wyoming on the 27th. Federal meteorologists have issued a rare fire warning for parts of Utah as the state battles one of the largest blazes in its history. Gusty winds and dry conditions will lead to very rapid fire growth. The risk zone includes the Cottonwood fire that's been spreading out of control in Utah, 175 miles south of Salt Lake City. The fire at over 70,000 acres has rapidly spread to the fifth biggest one to burn in the U.S. this year. It broke out this week during a pattern of escalating fire weather across the Intermountain West, fueled by parched ground, strong winds, and low humidity. That's not good. Not good. Thank you, BB, for another super sticker. Appreciate that. Trump will take the first flight on the gutter offered Air Force One, going to North Dakota next week. President Trump will take his first flight on the new Air Force One gifted by the Qatari government when he travels to North Dakota on Wednesday. The inaugural trip aboard Boeing 747-8 will be for dedication ceremony of the Theodore Roosevelt Presidential Library, one of several events Trump will join to celebrate America's 250th anniversary. He'll also fly to South Dakota next Friday to attend the fireworks show at Mount Rushmore. Can you imagine if that scumbag Kamala Harris had been president? All we'd be talking about is slavery and the lies about America. That's all we'd be talking about. We would be celebrating the glory that is America if she was president. Thank God we dodged that bullet. Some airlines are beginning to reduce fuel surcharges as oil prices fall, but others are holding steady. Canadian airlines are scaling back fuel prices. WestJet says it's reduced levy on companion fares from $40 from $60. Port Airlines has dropped it by half to $20. Air Canada is managing fuel costs through regular fare structure. Crude oil now well below $100 a barrel. So there you have it. That, folks, is in a rather rapid fashion today the news for Friday, the 26th of June, 2026. We are just days away, ladies and gentlemen, from June 30th. I'll be making a video shortly after this, two videos. One about that lunatic who is threatening people in South Africa, and then another one about the situation. So you're welcome for the news, RVC. How's it going? Zulu King is traitor. All those illegals brought drugs and crimes. So these illegals feel okay, Maureen. Okay. Brett Michaels. Gee, he used to be so cool. Now Weasel scared of being canceled. Exactly, Heidi. Wow, that is awesome. Great job rescuing those children. Yep. And Arno Sparkles, thank you. Colonel Silver Fox. Thanks for the news. You're welcome. You're very welcome. Let me get a sip of my Starbucks here. Hermanos Johannes Erlank, you're welcome for the news. Oh, Paul's family, don't worry. Our technical intelligence experts have spent months going through that plane. Yep. What is up with Delario? What do you mean, James? Thank you for your 14 months of membership. What do you mean? What do you mean? Please explain. You're welcome, Lynn. All right. What else have I missed here? Hey, Elmarie, what's going on? Would love to be part of that 8 million of 4th of July. Yeah, well, the Springboks are playing on the 4th of July. So I'm covering that game. Yep, that's coming up. In fact, let me just go and look and see if that's already scheduled on my Flow Rugby, if that's where it's going to be. Barbarians play this weekend. Oh, they play Wales, but that's going to be a boring game. Barbarians will probably win that game. Let me make sure that it's on here. So that's going to be... Oh, I need to look at July, not June. Look at July. It's the 4th of July. Oh, it's not on that. I wonder what it's on. Oh, that's not good. Where is it going to be? Oh, where's that going to be? I don't even know. How am I going to watch that now? Wow. How to watch Springboks versus England in USA. Probably Peacock or something like that. Oh, not 2024. I don't want 2024. I want that's now. Come on. It says it's Flow Rugby, but it's not there yet. I better figure it out quickly. That's last year's. Rugby pass. Let me see what this one says. Doesn't say. Oh, here we go. No, it doesn't say where. Erica sent you earthquake videos as well as very bad weather in Zurich. Thank you, Erica. How's it going, Erica? Good to see you there. There's one of the OGs. Lots happening in the news today. Thanks, Colonel. I've been out prepping for 30th, so I haven't heard all of it. Yeah, no, it's a lot happening. Good. Okay, you're prepped. That's good. Hey, Spook, you're welcome for the news. Can you give your efforts, Colonel, the news we can actually believe. Yeah. Well, it's because we question it, we vet it, we don't just read it. Yeah, it doesn't say where it's going to be on TV yet, so that's disappointing. I assumed it was on there, but it might be on. Oh wait, men's Paramount Plus. Let me see what this says. I have a Paramount Plus, men's rugby. World Rugby. It doesn't say. These are repeats. Oh, interesting. Interesting. That's disappointing. So I'm not sure. Yeah, it's me. Gosh bless it. Got to sign all these damn profiles. Sports. There's a search button. Here we go. Search South Africa versus England. Okay. Hit return. Okay. It's not searching. It gave me South Park. Well, that's not good. It's looking for sports. Anyway, I don't know. Well, we'll have to find out. But the 4th of July, I plan on watching that game. Have a look at the Zim driver shot and killed in Durban. Very sad. I didn't see that. Where did you see that information? I didn't see that in the news anywhere. No, they don't realize they wouldn't have Trump. So this worked out really well for Trump. He gets the World Cup. He gets the 250th anniversary. He gets the Women's World Cup in 2027. He gets, or no, 2028. When are the women's? They played 2024, so 2028. He gets that, yeah. So I have the Women's World Cup in 2028. Yep. Robots on the 30th. The Hot Full T-shirt. Okay. Media isn't really covering. Not many know about the great work Tulsi Gabbard has been doing exposing Dr. Fauci. No, I haven't seen anything on that. So it should lead to prosecution. Henry says he'll stay in his house. I got it. By the way, thanks for those who've watched my video on what happens on June 30th. That video is past 70,000. That's my best performing video in some time there. So 71,400 people are still watching it today. That's got me 218 subscribers. I'm very grateful for that. So if you haven't seen that video, you might want to go watch it. Just saying, here's the link to it. I'll put it up there so you can go watch it. That's what I pasted last week. What I put out last week. So that was on the 30th. And having a lot of coverage on the 30th. Okay. So I'll put probably do a Zoom session so that if anybody's out there and they are able to, get some footage or videos and send in it. If you record videos, let me just tell you now, if you're going to be an on-the-ground reporter for me, you need to landscape, folks. Landscape. None of this, portrait stuff. This is useless. This doesn't help. The world is in landscape, not in portrait. So do it in landscape. All right? So, hey, Stan, what's up? After all USCIS interviews and security checks successfully loaded, now wants police clearance. Am I going to waste my time applying for clearance? Well, if that's what they asked for, then they want it. They must have a reason for wanting that, Martin. I don't know. Just go get one. Are you going to make a Super Brew? Yeah, I do need to do that. In fact, I got logged out of all my stuff today, so I got to go back to Super Brew and log back into that. Let me do that right now. Log in. You're right. I'm glad you mentioned that because I hadn't thought to make a group. So, yeah, so Nations Championship, join. Okay. I support South Africa. Okay. And then start a poll. There we go. Okay. Okay. What's for fun? Okay. All right. So, Nations Champ. Started it. Okay. Invite players. Okay. So here it is. You guys are here first. You get. Let me see if that'll paste in there. That's too many. So sorry, it won't work. Okay. So here's the link. You can go there and join the pool if you want. Okay. If you want to join that pool, go ahead and join it now. And it's set up. Okay. Let me go very quickly here. Yep. And then check status. Okay. Nobody is asked to join yet, but it's set up. Nations Championship Rugby. Okay. So I'll look for that. So there you go. Anybody? Anybody clicked on it yet? Oh, nobody yet. Nobody yet. Yeah, you can share it. I've just what link, Clyde? What are you talking about? What link? Police, Army is joke. Majority. What is this? Useless. Gotcha. Okay. Police clearance via Postnet. 5 months. Good Lord. That's crazy. Yeah, power banks, make sure they're charged. Can you explain what happens on the 4th of July? What do you mean what happens? There's fireworks all over the country, typically, parades sometimes. Pizza party, thank you for the 40 Rand super chat. Because they ask for it, snippets. Sometimes people have allegations or past charges or past criminal cases, and they need a clearance to say that it's been resolved. Simple as that. Also, we had somebody arrested at the airport a while back, and there was no crime, but they were falsely accused of a crime from many years ago. And they were arrested, detained, and then sent to Bloemfontein, and then released on bail, and the charges were dismissed because there's no case. So we don't want people showing up at the airport being arrested by South African authorities because there's a case against them. So, yeah. You don't watch rugby. Okay, well, that's okay. Consider creating a WhatsApp group only for people sending proof videos and news articles. No replies given by you. That's an idea, Arza Rose. That's an idea. Yep, I should do that. Yeah, I should do that. Yep. How are you? Was that you that reported that the couple was hijacked and killed in Feldrift? It was me, yes. Yes, I reported. Do you know about that? Do you know about that? I did report that. I didn't disclose who it was, though. Angelique has no interest in rugby. Recently had orientation hosts claim that the U.S. doesn't have a culture and just roll my eyes at her. What? U.S. doesn't have a culture. Stupid people are all over the world, man. Oh, there are stupid people all over the world, I'm telling you. My other video about the South African Human Rights Commission being silent is doing okay as well. That one is not great, but good. 34,000 views on that one. 34,500. So appreciate that. Yep. How many comments have I got on that? I'm curious. I haven't looked at the comments. 208 comments on that one. The 70,000 view video has 669 comments. So it's great when people comment. You sent me a video on WhatsApp, says Sharon. Okay. Yep. 4th of July rodeo. That should be interesting. Okay. No, you shouldn't get a police clearance as a matter of course. Most people don't need it. In fact, it was a surprise to me the first time I heard it, because why do we trust the police? Maybe they're just trying to verify what the police claim. You know? The challenge about creating a WhatsApp group is that then I have to invite all these people to it. You know? What else we got here? Yeah, so CB, I just made the group. Let's see if anybody signed up for the Super Brew now. Let's see. Up 7 applicants. Okay, here we go. All right, cool. Approve, 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 approve. All right, 7 people are in the pool already. Woohoo! Problem. Okay, it didn't. Oh, it didn't do it. Okay, only 3 of you got approved. 2 of you got approved. Okay, now it says there's 2 applicants. Oh, Super Brew's acting up. Sometimes it's a shoestring operation. Okay, it says 2 applicants, but there's still 7 listed here. Approved. Crazy stuff. Oh, thank you, Cruiser Phoenix, for your membership. Appreciate that. Personally, I expect it to get out of hand if something doesn't happen organically that people want it to happen. Well, I'm going to tell you this much, ladies and gentlemen. There are people right now who are planning to loot. They've got it all in motion. They're just waiting for the tipping point to when they can get away with it. Guarantee it, ladies and gentlemen. I guarantee it. So it looks like it's working now. I just did 3 of them. And see, they're getting approved as I go. 4. Okay. 5. 6. And the last one. 7. Okay, applicants. I've got 2 more. Okay, so it looks like we got 9 people in the pool. There you go. Good way to start it. Thanks for asking, CB, about the pool. I forgot about it. All right, so now that's... Oh, got... Okay, I just approved that one. See, this is very frustrating. Electric account up to date. Message is taking power day, but... Huh. Please... Okay. What else we got here? Got home today after 2nd medicals on Tuesday. Then my son had to do 3 days sputum. Got lost in a scary area. Luckily, safely home, West Coast. Oh, away from the crazy cities. Yeah, I hear you. Hey, Chris Wyatt, what's going on? I didn't see you there earlier. Okay, so... Okay, let me see if there's anybody here. Okay, I got... Come on. It keeps telling me I have no applicants, then it says I have an applicant. Okay, so let me go to to-do. I got to pick mine. So let me do my... What needs to-do list is not... Hang on. Oh, my goodness. I didn't get to pick my games, so... Okay. 59 tournaments I've done. 3,725 caps. I've capped in 31 times since July 2021. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 people in the pool now. Okay? Cool. All right, I got to pick a winner here. So pick a winner. France and New Zealand. It's in New Zealand, so I'm going to pick New Zealand by 7. George Steinberg in from Heckport with 350 Rand super chat. Thank you, brother. Oh, not a WhatsApp group. One way. What? Oh, okay. Okay, gotcha. I'll have to figure out how to do that. Is that they did not fully prepare me for the Arizona heat. Big Fluffy, I take it you're in Arizona. Well, you should go to the mountains. Go down the Chiricahua Mountains. It's a lot cooler up the mountains. South Africa already like Europe with all the criminal, arrogant illegals, pack people. My phone's always exploding. You know, I've not heard anything yet. We'll update when here. Thank you, Pizza Party. Yeah, I heard you earlier in the last stream saying that. Okay. Light Rain said figure slip. I need a new ID, driver's license. My ID gone with moving. We'll get a passport as well. Good Lord, Miranda, you don't have anything, do you? What's going on there? Okay. Australia versus Ireland. It's in Australia. I'm going to pick Ireland by 10. Okay. Japan versus Italy. I'm going to pick Italy even though it's in Japan because Italy's been playing well. Fiji and Wales. Ooh, Wales sucks. I'm going to pick Fiji. South Africa and England. I'm going to pick South Africa by 14. Argentina and Scotland. I'm going to pick Argentina by 7. There you go. That's my picks. Okay, cool. I made my picks. All right, there you go. Dashboard. I'm looking for my captaincies. That's what I'm looking for. Captaincies. Oh, we got 4 new applicants, but where does it say? Invites. Okay. No, that's not what I want. Where's the manage the thing? There we go. 4 applicants. Okay, cool. 1. Come on. Come on, come on. Approved. There's 2. Oh, we got ladies in here too. Love it when the ladies join the rugby pools. It's a lovely photo too. Angie. All right, cool beans. That's awesome. So those 4, let's see. Now it's telling me they're not there again, but members. Cool. 14 people now in the pool. Cool beans, guys. I lost the love I once had for this country. Oh, sorry to hear that, Pauls. Early the other morning, it sounded like a running gun battle on night fight. Well, guys, yesterday after I got off air, woo, I got buzzed by military aircraft. They flew like 300, maybe 500 feet over my head, AGL. It was really close. Yep, right over my house. Debbie Fox, $20 super chat. Oh my goodness, Debbie, thank you for that. Super chat, was not expecting that. Pizza Party, thank you for the 40 Rand, thank you. And remember the song MP by Johnny Clegg. I don't remember it. Yeah, who's writing all caps? Please stop doing that. All right, cool beans. So it's Friday, folks. By the way, it is Veroshka's birthday, for those who don't know that today. Happy birthday to Veroshka. She's 23 today. Stan, I didn't see the song you sent me. I saw you sent me some messages, but I'm way behind. I don't know. Let me see what you sent me. What's this? Okay. Oh, that's not it. What song did you send me? I didn't realize there was a song here. You've got, is this it here?
36 years in uniform.
Oh, that one.
And still standing post. From Carlisle's quiet barracks to the desert's crimson glow, intel maps and radio code, he learned the things we need to know. Foreign air.
Oh, that's the one. I didn't see that. Sorry about that. Okay, let me try to download it. I gotta download it first. Okay, there we go. Now that I've downloaded, I gotta save it. It's just to download into the app first, then I have to save it. All right, got it. Cool beans. Thank you for that. I'll listen to it when I get a chance there. I don't think Veroshka's here because she's working, but it is her birthday. So that's why I just mentioned it. Today's her birthday, so we know that. We do know it's her birthday. All right. So thank you all for wishing her a happy birthday. Okay. Okay. Sorry. I just got something. Oh, these guys are making things very difficult for me. Sent me a voice message. I had our cultural orientation today. There were 2 colored families. Democrats have no leg. Yeah, of course they have no leg stand. Neither's the New York Times. But they keep going on with it. By the way, let me show you guys what they're giving to people coming over and celebrating the 250th anniversary. So for those of you who didn't see this already, this is what they're giving to folks. I met with Spook yesterday evening and took Spook and spouse to the BJ's, went shopping. We hung out at their hotel for a bit. And they told me that they're amongst the folks who just arrived who got these nice, lovely things that we're giving in honor of the 250th. Now, the New York Times took exception to this. First off, they lied about the 1776 report, which was published in January 2021, claiming that it glosses over racism and Americanism and it glosses over slavery, which is a lie. When the book talks about challenges to America's vision and its principles, the first topic is slavery, and it gives nearly 3 pages description of it, and it's objective. It talks about the bad things, and it talks about the intent of the framers and of the nation, and how the Northwest Ordinance, as I've told you many, many times, was the first time we expand our country. We banned slavery there. We also banned the slave trade the first chance we had after 20 years. That was the compromise, and it talks about why compromises were necessary. There wouldn't have been a country without it. All things I've shared with you all. It's almost as if I should be teaching this course. So they gave them that book, which was provided free. They gave them a copy of the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution, given freely by the Heritage Foundation. And they also gave them a book about America's founders. And they gave them an Amazon Fire tablet, which is valued at $129 regularly. But they're right now on sale for $89. But I suspect the tablets were purchased by a third party and the taxpayers paid nothing for this. But they whined about this. They whined about people come in this country, we want to give them the information to learn what this country's about, and that bothers them. That hurt the New York Times feelings. These are what the folks are getting, plus a flag. Plus they got a U.S. flag. Can you believe the New York Times is upset that we're giving these things to people arriving in this country as refugees so they understand America? It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Disgusting, the New York Times. Absolutely disgusting. These are the things that we're giving to those arriving in America in celebration of the 250th anniversary. What a bunch of sourpusses. What a bunch of absolute sourpusses. I mean, honestly. Who in the world would object to those arriving in America being handed these things to understand what America is all about? But of course, that's because their view of America is false. They live in a fictional world in which they believe the garbage that someone has fed them at university. Yeah, they have a serious lack of patriotism. They have a serious lack of objectivity as well. Yep. Yeah, so awesome and precious. At least it would be precious to me. Yep. Precious to me as well. Yep. Yeah, I'm aware of that, Amanda. We talked about it yesterday. But he's also got a charge filed against him by AfriForum. Well, it depends when you arrive, Cool Beans. I don't think it's going to carry into perpetuity. It's just for the 250th. I don't know how long. Yeah, Vander says, considering that Democratic Socialist America have been elected in New York, it's not so surprising. Yeah, it's not surprising at all. Not surprising at all. But anyway, that's the reality there, folks. It's a shame. Looks like it doesn't matter where we go. We Afrikaners will always be the bad guys. No, you're not the bad guys. Trump's the bad guy. Come on, James. Keep up with current events. Trump's the bad guy. It's not from the States, Boerblom. It's given to every household who arrives in America, at least for the time being. Every household gets it when they arrive in America. It has nothing to do with the state. Every household will get that package when they arrive in America. So I don't know how long it continues, but it's done for the 250th anniversary. And as I said, I guarantee you that, first off, I know that the Heritage Foundation and the Prager University books were free. They're given by those organizations from their own resources. So the government didn't pay for that. And I doubt they paid for the tablet either. That was probably donated too. Yep. Not donated by Amazon. Well, Erica, the Barbary pirates and slavery of whites isn't American history. Although the Barbary pirates are part of American history because we spanked them as our first foreign conflict. We went there and we spanked the Barbary pirates. All right. Yeah. Is it versus Democrats or versus communists? It's definitely versus communism and socialism. These people have such a bizarre view of the world. It's astounding. I came across a very excellent X account the other day by someone who apparently is South African and who puts things in just blatantly obvious terms of just amazing things. Let me find one of those things that he commented on. I go to my X account and find, oh, I'm logged out again. Damn it. Oh, God bless it. Too many crickets. Password is incorrect. Damn it. I fixed this before. This is because my account got lost now. This is annoying. So I got to go back here and try to find this thing. There it is. That's the correct password there. Oh, that's definitely not it. Okay, let's see. Continue. Sent a code to my phone. Oh, jeez. Okay. There's my code. And I'm back into my X account. Gee, many crickets. What a pain. Okay, so now I need to go to my profile and find one of these things I commented on. Okay. There it is. That's the guy, Henri. Okay, he's got some really cool stuff. Okay, well, I got back in. See, that's what happens when I get signed out of my account. So let me read this to you. This is from Henri Van Heerden, I think his name is. So he writes these things all the time. I don't know if it's a person or a group of people doing this, but it's pretty wild. You walk into a Prague grocery store in 1985, and the toothpaste says toothpaste. That's the brand. White tube, blue letters, no name, because a name implies a producer competing for your loyalty, and there's no competition. There's one toothpaste. You take it or your teeth stay dirty. The soap works the same way. Soap wrapped in a waxy gray paper that crumbles when you look at it. Is it a good soap? You have no idea. And you never will because you have nothing to compare it to. The genius of price signals and brand reputation is that they pack thousands of strangers' judgments into one purchase decision. Strip that away and you're buying blind. Quality becomes a rumor. You hear the soap from the Pilsen plant lathers better than from the Ostrava one. So you hoard the Pilsen bars when the friend tips you off. That is your consumer research. Gossip. Now the line. You stood in it for 2 hours and you do not yet know what it sells. You joined because the line means something arrived. Oranges, maybe? Toilet paper? If the planners felt generous this quarter? This happens not because the planners are evil or even incompetent. Without market prices for capital goods, the central planner cannot calculate. He's flying blind, allocating steel and labor by guesswork, and the result lands at your feet as an empty shelf and a 4-hour queue for shoes that do not fit. The system itself cannot function. It's impossible. Production under socialism is impossible because there are no price signals. There were no restaurants worth the word. East Berlin in 1980 had a handful of state canteens serving the same gray schnitzel where the waiter did you a favor by taking your order and the kitchen ran out half the menu by noon. Choice was a Western decadence. You ate what existed. This is what they meant well produced. A continent of adults trading gossip about soap and standing in line for the privilege of not knowing what they would get. The planners promised abundance and delivered a blank tube of toothpaste. 40 years of it, and yet people kept telling you it was never tried properly. Exactly. 100%. 100%. Oh, here you go. This is going to be a good one here because I've railed about the RLC over and over again. Let me talk about the RLC. Here you go. The RLC once covered 68,000 square kilometers. By 2014, the Eastern Basin was bone-dry dust. You can stand on what used to be the seabed near Monez, Uzbekistan, next to rusting fishing trawlers stranded 50 miles from any water, and look at exactly what central planning produces when no price tells anyone that water is scarce. Soviet planners diverted the Amu Dara and the Sir Dara rivers in the 1960s to irrigate cotton in the desert. They had a quota. Cotton meant hard currency, and Gosplan wanted hard currency, so the rivers that fed the sea got drained into leaky, unlined canals where most of the water evaporated before reaching a single plant. No owner of that water existed. No price signaled the cost of destroying a fishery that employed 40,000 people. The planners simply decided, and a sea died. This happens everywhere benevolent socialists are in power. Mao's Great Leap Forward ran the same playbook on Chinese forest and farmland, ordering peasants to melt their tools in backyard furnaces and kill every sparrow in the country. The sparrows ate insects. With the sparrows gone, locust swarms stripped the crops, and roughly 30 million people starved to death between 1958 and 1962. East Germany's Wismut mining operation dumped uranium tailings across Saxony and Thuringen for decades, leaving towns like Roneborg sitting on radioactive waste because a state monopoly answers to a plan, never to the people downwind. Pollution is a property rights problem. When a steel mill in a market economy fouls your river, you can sue. Because you own the riverbank and the law recognizes your claim, under socialism, the state owns everything. So you sue the polluter and the judge in the same building, which is to say, you sue nobody. The entity destroying the environment and the entity being to protect it are the same entity and shares the payroll. Prices are knowledge, strip them away, and you blind every actor in the system to the consequences of their own actions. The RLC didn't dry up because the Soviets hated water. It dried up because nobody owned it, and nobody could put a number on what it was worth until it was gone. Yep, that's exactly right. That is exactly right. Yep. I'll read one more for you guys, okay? In 1825, Francis Wright bought 2,000 acres of malarial Tennessee bottomland and called it Neshoba. The plan? Buy slaves, settle them on the commune, let their collective labor pay for their own emancipation and education. Cooperation would do what markets supposedly couldn't. 5 years later, she stood over the wreckage and wrote that cooperation has well nigh killed us all. Sit with that sentence, because she did not write it as an outside critic. She wrote it as a true believer who built the thing and watched it rot. The economics were doomed before the first tree fell. Wright assumed that pooled labor with no individual ownership and no price signals would somehow generate a surplus large enough to buy freedom for 30 people. It generated mud, fever, and dead. The slaves she meant to liberate worked land they did not own for proceeds that they could not claim, supervised by overseers who answered to a committee in absentia. Strip away the abolitionist intentions, and the structure was identical to the plantation she despised, minus the brutal efficiency that made plantations profitable. When you sever effort from reward, people stop showing up. The same disease killed Robert Owen's New Harmony in Indiana, which collapsed in 1827 after burning through $200,000 of his fortune in 2 years. Owen blamed the settlers. The settlers blamed each other. Nobody blamed the absence of property because admitting that would have meant admitting the whole premise was a fantasy. Frances Wright, to her credit, came closer than most. She shipped the surviving freedmen to Haiti in 1830 and walked away from the wreckage of her own design. Free market thinkers have a name for what she discovered the hard way: the calculation problem and the incentive problem, working in tandem to grind utopia into bankruptcy. You cannot vote scarcity out of existence. You cannot legislate the desire of free ride out of a man who keeps nothing he produces. Wright spent a fortune and several lives learning this. The lesson remains free for anyone willing to read. 100%. This guy is smart. Yep. One more. I'll try to get an interview with him. He's smart. It's Zwickau, 1985. You're putting your name on a list for the Trabant 601. You're 27 years old. By the time the car arrives, you'll be 37. A decade of waiting for a vehicle whose two-stroke engine and Duroplast body, cotton waste pressed into resin because East Germany had no steel to spare, had not meaningfully changed since 1957. Think about that decade-long list actually tells you. A waiting list is a price signal that the state has gagged. In a functioning market, a queue that long screams one thing: raise production, raise the price, let competitors in, do something. The VEB Sachsenring plant did none of these. It couldn't. There were no competitors, no profit and loss feedback, no entrepreneurs scanning the gap between demand and supply and rushing to fill it. Ludwig von Mises explained why in 1920. Without private ownership of the means of production, there are no real prices for capital goods. And without real prices, no rational calculation. The Trabant is a manifestation of such a system. The car produced 26 horsepower and roughly 100 grams of hydrocarbons per kilometer. Jiminy crickets. 9 times the contemporary Western engine. You mixed oil into the gasoline by hand at the pump. The fuel gauge was a dipstick. There was no tachometer. Demand never softened because the alternative to a bad car was no car, and the planners read the waiting list not as failure, but as proof of how beloved the Trabant was. Compare West Germany over the same span. Volkswagen, BMW, Mercedes Volkswagen, BMW, and Mercedes iterated constantly, killing off bad models and answered consumers who would walk down the street and buy a rival. Same Germans, same engineers, same work ethic. The only variable change across the wall was who owned the factory and whether the prices were allowed to speak. When the wall fell in 1989, Trabants jammed the checkpoints headed west, and within 2 years, their owners abandoned them in the streets like trash. The market delivered a verdict in 24 months that the central planners had refused to hear for 32 years. Spot on. Spot on. Yep. Smart guy. Anyway. Yep. Really smart guy. He hid the virus origins and lied to Congress. Oh, I know he lied to Congress on Earth. We caught him lying about the gain of function. Yep, so they'll go prosecute him. Reward is the basic incentive for action. Anyone who has trained animals will know how important reward for effort is. Exactly. Humans are motivated by rewards, just like anyone else in the animal kingdom. And to ignore that is to be dumb and stupid. He's very smart. The guy's very smart. All right, Angelique, take care. All right, people are dropping off now. So I'm going to drop off here. I'm going to make a few videos. I've got plans for making 3 videos today. Well, 2 or 3. Anyway, what is his X handle? Hang on. So you guys going to listen to him and stop listen to me, huh? Just kidding. Where's it at? Hang on. Oh, it's easy. No one else used the term at Andre. So there you go. There you go. That's his X handle right there. Okay. There you go. Smart guy. Anyway, that's going to do it for today. I'll catch you guys later. There'll probably be a Night Owls tonight. Okay. I'm going to watch the Cape Verde game at 8 o'clock, so it should be over by the time we do Night Owls. I never heard of Citizen Vigilante. Can't get rid of you that easily. I hope that Dr. Fauci's prosecuted, and I hope that also they stop his $500,000 a year pension. That's BS. What's an undercoos? You sent me an email, but that doesn't help me. Give me the first few letters of the email address so I can do a search. I can't guess unless it's at Coos. All right, so let me know. There's no rugby this weekend. I'm not gonna cover the Barbarians game against Wales. I'll probably watch it, but I won't cover it. We have ANC people singing bang drums here on the plots. That's crazy. All right, so I'm still waiting for Kus to tell me give me some part of the email address. Hey, Sir Glenn Quagmire, Bafana won. They advanced. South Korea was turgid, just like America yesterday. Embarrassing, South Korea and America embarrassing. Hudson, but got it. Okay, thank you, Kus. All right, that's helpful. Oh, it's right there. It's the first thing there. Okay. Why don't you send me some bullet points about what you need to talk about? Time is very circumspect. Okay? Thank you. All right. Oh, you just sent me. I thought we could send it to you like a month ago or something like that. That was easy for me to find. It was right at the top. People always tell me I sent you an email, and then they sent it like a month ago, and I have no idea where it is, and I can't find it because I don't know the username. All right. Thanks, guys. That's going to do it. All right. That's going to do it. Cheers. Thanks for being here. Catch you later. Watch my videos, please. More coming up.